Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to our series on Strategic Command, World War II, War in the Pacific, Rise and Fall of an Empire, a new DLC. Quick note, yesterday's video was new, but that's because I had previously posted episode 3 twice. This is episode 5. I don't know why I did that, but whatever. Sorry about that. And then also I was like kind of half asleep when recording yesterday's episode. I didn't want to like lose everything I had shared, but I did some weird things. We could just assume the Japanese high command was drunk. Like, I don't know why the 18th division is sailing all the way out here on their own with no support or transports. I do remember putting these SNLF troops on an amphibious mission, but the overarching goal is to try and take these ports down here. I can't do that with the transport, so we'll probably have to sail them back. But the goal here is going to be to land some Marines to try and take an Amoy, Swalto, and ultimately Canton to try and take the coastal cities away from China, because they are really important to China's income. And that historically was something that the Japanese did do. Now we are also looking at reducing Fuzhou, which we have not yet really had any success at. I can't use that artillery because they already moved. Also, there's a Chinese gunboat here we should probably try to deal with. We've got a mostly fresh light cruiser down here. Kind of surprised at like how effective these gunboats are at staying alive. So they'll probably attack these transports and maybe do some damage. I'm hoping that this amphibious group is at least shielded here. I don't think I can attack them. I've already used my air units there, but I'm going to do something a little bit different here shortly. And that is, I'm going to take a pause. I think one of the problems in this series, one of my problems as a player here, is I think I'm getting too bogged down into grinding it out and just continually pushing forward and occasionally reinforcing, but never really formulating any offensive plans. And I think that's kind of why you see a lot of my units all over here, very weak, very, prone to perhaps being ready for defeat, and also just sort of barely pushing the enemy back. We're kind of grinding them down, but there's really no major thrust going on right now. It's just sort of a general oozing back of the front lines, and it may be too slow for our purposes for this game. So I think what we're going to do, I have a new division deployed up here, the 15th division. I also am hoping to be able to pull one or two of these new divisions that I've already raised and sent forward toward Shenzhen or toward, I think I put one up north here near Wanchuan to try and stabilize the front up here. But my goal here is once we stabilize the front in the north, we're going to continue a slow advance with sort of the troops in the center here, that as much as we can, to try and push the enemy back toward Wuhan. I'm not sure I have enough strength to take it with just these like 5 units, but we'll continue a slow push there. We will then shift a few units south from this position to invest Wuhan from the north. So maybe we'll be able to succeed in taking that second Chinese capital. The capital will then likely move all the way out here to Chongqing, which logistically is going to be real hard for us to push in on in any kind of near-term strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to we have a couple of units and 2 new headquarters coming online in the next 2 months. We've got 2 new divisions and 2 new headquarters coming in the next 2 months. What I'm planning on doing for early 1939 is forming up a task force around these 2 headquarters to try and provide us adequate supply. And by that point, I would assume we will have pushed the enemy back a little bit so that we can then try to use this rail line here crossing the Yellow River and push west with a considerable force to these towns toward Xi'an, which is a capital of communist China, and then also toward Pakao, Pinlang, and Qinyang, and maybe Yan'an. And then we can kind of like, the goal here is to have a large task force here, push west, take these cities, and effectively cut the northern portion of these troops off from the southern portion. I can then also use sort of that as a base of operations to push south toward Anqing and then eventually Chongqing, because there's some decent supply centers up here in the north. I think the most logical way to approach that is to use this rail line here that gets to Xi'an, That will support us in that push. We can base headquarters in these different towns. Maybe we'll have the 2 new headquarters and then this one here up here, 3 headquarters perhaps, and then try and use a localized concentration of force. We will then likely, I don't know if we'll totally hold in place, but we'll likely continue to kind of grind it out around Wuhan with the remaining troops and maybe fill in some of the drive towards some of these southern towns like Quilin and whatnot. But really the focus as much as I can get, I'm going to base up here and try and make kind of a rapid push west. We'll use air power and other things like that. That's sort of my high level hope. We'll see if it manifests itself in that way. I would like to free up as many troops as I can to try and accomplish that. I've got a few points left. I can do that for 1 more reinforcement of these medium bombers, but we're already done with this turn. So let's move forward here to October, because I need better supply. I need to be pushing more effectively against the Chinese. I need to have more headquarters that allow me to push. Oh my God, they got a light cruiser. Are we going to lose a division at sea? At least they pulled into port. Get them off those transports. That was kind of disastrous. But yeah, I really want to try and cut China in 2. I think also some of those provinces might still be neutral based on this map that they're orange, unless that's the communist zones. I'm not really sure. But there's just too much there's too many gaps in my front line right now to try and push everywhere. And I think to go on a more passive footing and just have a major thrust in one place feels right. So first headquarter just arrived. I think that was. We'll get infantry divisions at the end of the month. Okay. All right, I think by retaking Taotong, that'll help my supply up here too. Maybe not immediately. It's kind of a major push here too. We could use this rail line from Shantung down here. That might actually be a better way to clear our flank too. No major changes this turn, but that's just sort of my overarching plan for going forward. Let's move down here before I forget. Let's pull these guys off transports. Poor 18th Division. Fuzhou, we'll hit them with artillery. Get rid of all their entrenchments. I do not have the requisite supply here. Just gotta hope to try and slowly wear them down. Okay. Okay, so we're wearing them down. They'll have to lose a lot of their experience to draw reinforcements. Nice. Okay. Nice. Destroyed that enemy air unit. Okay. All right, destroyed that enemy air unit and then cut the line here so that there's an army group to the east. You can see, like, even this progress, we destroyed an enemy unit, but at that rate, the progress toward Wuhan is going to be glacial. We really can't afford that slow of a advance. Okay. One to three. Swing in behind him and take that airfield. All right, destroyed that enemy army group. Took that town. Interceptors. So the enemy's surrounded out here, but again, it's a bit of a grind. They're probably going to try and advance this way. We'll pull back just slightly. They'll take this town, but we'll still have the supply coming in from here. All right, let's spend this money to operate this headquarters forward to try and give us better supply up front. I'm just going to march them because I don't know that it is worth... There's not actually any partisans. There's no reason for... either of these garrisons to be here. I'm gonna march these guys down here to try and free up this division. Okay. All right, so I think, I don't know if we want to push through these mountains though, but I think maybe basing around Chengting would be a good idea. We'll push south this way. Then these guys can all kind of stay in place and sort of secure our flank there. Troops in the north will secure the flank there. We'll use this rail line here. Take Taiyuan first, then Pinyang, then down to Xi'an. Okay. There we go. Those SNLF troops did their job and we took Fuzhou. Hopefully that helps the supply situation next turn. Should at least a little bit. And then we can advance down toward Amoy. In fact, we can start now. I'm hoping they get a new strike. So then we can hit them from the sea at Amoy too. Not quite the naval leapfrog that I had planned, but it worked. Also, with the money I have left, I'm going to do some research into logistics. And I don't know that we're going to do enough amphibious attacks to make that investment make sense. I'd like to dump another one into logistics, but it won't let me. We'll do MPP investment. Okay. Okay. There's no reason for this headquarters to stay at Nanking. All right, what will this do for supply? Anything? Not much. Yeah, we need that. Either that these guys could have gone to here. Okay. I can't upgrade the troops that are adjacent to an enemy or that have already moved. Which is pretty much everybody who's left. Can we purchase another garrison? Do we have any garrison units to purchase? No. Okay. Guess that does it for this turn. Naval construction level 1. I think that helps our income, or at least the supply that ports generate. Okay. Did they just destroy one of my units there with the Chinese army group? Damn it. That caught me by surprise. We may need to split some reinforcements off in the center there. It looks like they're pushing on our flank. We're very vulnerable. We have to garrison. We have almost equal number of units, but the enemy has a lot more units they can deploy to the front line because a considerable number of our troops are small garrison units in the rear. 2nd Brigade destroyed. New division deployed. So many communist troops in this area. supply here. Okay. How many? They've only got 13 guerrilla units. That's only one more than before. It must just be concentrating. Some of them are now divisions, though, and not guerrillas, but... Just destroyed another. We'll move these guys down here. Brigade next to this SNLF unit is what was destroyed. All right. 17th Chinese Army is destroyed here. Maybe we can do some damage here, at least get rid of some of their entrenchments. There we go. Man, those forecasts on that artillery seem like they're really off. There we go. All right. Took that airfield. Headquarters unit down. All right, so we did, by clearing out some of these enemy units in our rear, we've built a much more solid position along the river dikes. Our supply, or maybe it's just because we had the level 2 infantry tech, but we just rocked those enemy troops. I'll take 1 to 3 first. There we go. Got him. Headquarters forward. All right, so this is where we get a little overextended and where I think the advance from up here makes sense. Because at this point, we are like pushing south, but to where, right? Like, I guess we could go to Hankow and support Wuhan. But again, the goal is to drive west and cut the Chinese in two. We're kind of getting sucked down here by our own success. If the estimate is that I won't take casualties, I will pretty much always attack. I always think good odds are worth it. Let's move, because we said we're gonna set up our offensive here. So I'll move this guy here. We need to spend some time reinforcing some of these troops, but we did do some serious damage to the Chinese this turn, I think. They're down to 41 units. So all the positive reinforcements they gained back were lost. Can these medium bombers hit as far as here? They cannot. I need more forward air bases. The thing is that the DLC, the way they lock aircraft to being positioned on airfields, actually is an interesting little challenge there for you. They did not get a new strike. Okay. I think we've got to unload them and load them back up to get that back. Okay. Reinforce where I can. All right. I moved the tanks up here to shield this artillery from the enemy. Gradually reduce the 14th Army over a few turns is, I guess, the goal. Okay. All right. I think that does it for this turn. I hate spending money reinforcing our ships, but we probably should. How much is this worth something? No. Yeah, that was dumb. I should have kept the headquarters in the city. I should know better than that. All right. We have 327 MPPs left. Can I not replace one of the brigades we lost? We're still maxed out on the number of units we're allowed to have there. I don't have enough for any of those headquarters. One of the bad generals, not even. Okay, we'll buy 2 more divisions. They'll arrive in February, which might be around when that offensive kicks off. It might be a little bit after. Okay. All right. Let's end the turn and see what the next month has in store for us. Historically, we're right around the time the Battle of Wuhan is occurring, so we're a little behind schedule there, but... Interesting. Was Wang Cheng Wei the guy who ended up being the puppet leader of Puppet China? Can't remember. It is funny to me, the idea of Chinese gunboats and light cruisers battling with the Japanese Navy. Well, those they might destroy that cavalry division. Oh, they withdrew. Good job. Smart, my lads, smart. Funny thing is, this is like a big chunk of the communist forces, so some of their cities there may not actually be all that well defended for this offensive I'm planning. All right, supply here out of... Should be solid. Okay. All right, I guess we'll try and cross this river. I'd like to destroy that army group if I can. I think them withdrawing kind of rules that out. Got him. Okay, we'll attack the Soviet Volunteers headquarters. Move our artillery down here. Reinforce those guys as best we can. Now we are opening up, our flank is going to be a little bit exposed to troops coming from Hanafu. Move another unit in here to support the eventual planned drive. What's the guerrilla situation look like? We will have to leave someone here. It's probably this Suzuki brigade. Nice, we destroyed them. There's two more army groups down here, though. Or armies. One army group, one army. Okay. Freed up the 101st Division now. See if we can destroy this 14th Chinese Army group here. Artillery doing a lot of good work. They've been isolated for a little while now, which I think hurts their performance. So Wuhan has fallen. These two headquarters units forward a bit. Okay. That should help the advance on the front of Wuhan. China is losing more units now than they're replacing. The communists are pretty steady, but the nationalists are now in a bit of a funk. Okay. Let's upgrade these guys. So upgrade those units. Move the artillery closer to Amoy. What did I do? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Upgrade them. Using this turn for a lot of reinforcements. Especially with the Chinese naval presence, I should probably reinforce my ships as best I can. Probably should reinforce my carrier air wings and have them sail down there too. I'm curious if there's any more events at this point in the game. I don't know the answer to that. Could buy and then upgrade later another division at this point. We could also use cavalry brigades as garrisons. Might be worthwhile. Research isn't quite maxed out, but I don't like advanced fighters. I don't really know. I guess long range aircraft ground attack might actually be useful. Mobility probably too. Okay. Our income is increasing a little bit, which is nice. They're going to try and attack that cavalry there. I was moving them there hoping it would cut the supply because we moved them across a roadway to those enemy troops. We'll see. Wouldn't shock me if the AI, I don't know that they have visual on what we're doing at Chentang, but if we start building up a mobile force there, if they start pushing troops there, field artillery with Soviet support. Okay, that was probably an event-driven thing. I need a headquarters unit up this way too to help with the supply situation there. All right. Got that division. Push south. Upgrade the guys that need to upgrade. Destroy that headquarters unit. I think it's pretty clear now we're pushing pretty strongly on Wuhan from the north. I've got this headquarters unit supporting the drive. I do think I need to... These guys don't have enough supply to upgrade, or why can't they upgrade? Okay, I was thinking we'd push over that direction and try and secure our flank a bit. Okay. Let's pull these guys back. Can we rebase these guys somewhere where they'll have better supply? Down there, maybe? Upgrade our carriers. Continue pressuring the front of Wuhan, their sort of front door, if you will. I think the Chinese national morale is starting to crater because these guys do not seem to be putting up a very good fight. Take that airfield. Try and chain supply between these locations. Alright, so these are 14th Elite Division. We've got an army group down here. So we're kind of coming on from the north and from the east on the capital. Interceptors, they're going to get rocked. I don't have any fighters down there. Oh, they didn't get hurt at all. Okay. Strange. Do they not have a strike again? Even though they just loaded back up? I'm confused. They just have a garrison here, which shouldn't be too difficult to defeat. Okay. Do I need this troop here? I might as well. Are there garrison requirements anywhere down here? Not really. So I might as well use these guys as garrison troops, but we gotta bomb them if only to cut into their entrenchments, perhaps. Or, I don't know, morale, something. 100 more points I can't really use toward, I mean, I guess I could buy another division, but I can't reinforce any of the troops I have right now, so why don't we max our research here while we can. Let's do mobility. Oh, I don't have the money for that. Let's do... supply distribution of ports. I guess that could be useful with our current focus. Or we could do production tech. I guess production tech. Alright, that maxes our R&D funding for the turn. We'll do one more turn. I'm assuming the Chinese are in a little bit of a fatal funnel when it comes to MPP income and spend. Could be wrong. A little bit of a naval battle of the Formosa Strait shaping up here. My push from the center down south toward Wuhan is developing a little bit more aggressively than I had intended. But I'm still planning on that sort of east-west thrust. Okay, they're going to pull those guys back, presumably to that port just south of Amoy. I'd hoped they used enough movement points that they couldn't move again, but they must be close if they can. Okay, another division and headquarters. I'm going to start the push in the center just a little bit. Nothing too aggressive, but if I can... damage one of these bad guys and still keep my guys in decent supply, I'd like to do it. Great if we could destroy this division of communist troops here in the north. Yep, got them. Okay. So the communists are staying right at around 12. The Chinese have sort of stabilized for the moment around 40, at least to start the turn. I shouldn't say they've stabilized because they'll probably be below that before the end of the turn. Enemy contact. Artillery. Okay. What does the enemy have over here? Just artillery? They don't have any troops in that town? I find that hard to believe. Apparently they don't. This is a major city. 12 MPP value? Okay. I can't rail them here. Honestly, what's the point then? I might as well just march them. Can these guys not? Alright, I was taking a little bit of a risk there to attack, that they wouldn't get obliterated by the enemy. Destroyed them. All right. So good little chunk of fighting here in the center. Enemies back under 40 units. Gonna bring our carriers south. Do you have any troops here? Nope. All right, let's take out the entrenchments here of this regiment at Amoy with air and artillery bombardment. Well, they got to strike again, but there's no actual way for them to get into attack directly, so I guess we're just gonna have to put them ashore. Right, there's the enemy cruiser and gunboat. We can now attack them directly, and that should lessen the risk. That our troops get intercepted. So we push them back into port. Not exactly what I wanted to do, because now I can't really attack them. Ships in port are largely immune to naval attack. But I doubt the Chinese have a ton of money to spend. If we take a look at their MPPs, their income is... That can't be right. No, that's us. Their income is dropping a little bit. Not dramatically, but a little bit. They're down to about 390. At one point, they were over 500. So that's a pretty considerable drop. But they're losing way more than they're collecting. I think Amoy will fall next turn. So move this guy back into that city. Does that help the supplies? It does, considerably. Okay. Let's try and take this army out in front of Wuhan. It's on our flank, so it's in the way. We're going to run into more enemy troops as we approach. Defensive artillery, that means they've got more than one, right? I'll move that headquarters here. Okay. The new units will deploy to Manchuria so we can move them to support the offensive. When's our next unit? We've got another division coming, right? Two more in February. I think we wait till then to really make a push for Taiyuan. Although they feel a little bit soft there. I'm making this grand plan and it seems like it might go off prematurely, but we don't need these guys here either. We will need someone. in this general area. At least one more garrison unit. Research is maxed, so I can't spend any money on that right now. I can buy more medium bombers. They take a long time. I can buy one more division. Then we're maxed out on that. More field artillery too. It's interesting that as we lose units, Japanese national morale decreases with the resignation of Prime Minister Kono. It's interesting that with the loss of units, you can't replace them with new garrisons so far. China continues to resist. Yes, they do. I'm well aware of that. Wuhan will be mine before long. Give it till March of 39 and it'll fall. Just in time for that central offensive to cut China in two. Nice, that gunboat tried to escape and ran and surprised itself by running into my cruiser. Then ran right across it and took another casualty, so it's down to 1 hit point. Wonder if it was able to get to a friendly port. Let's try and take Amoy this turn. Well, we tried last turn too, but... Okay. Alright, the Marines did it. No surprise there. There's another enemy garrison at Swato, but we are taking the port cities, which is important. So the enemy moved into port there, huh? Naval gunfire, no. Oh, is that because they have a ship in port? All right, so those troops landed. I think we'll probably take that port next turn also. Maybe. Let's transport some garrison troops also so we can defend Amoy. We're working our way toward Canton, which will cut off British aid in through Hong Kong. I would imagine that would have a impact on their economy. Hopefully none of these interior troops try and come in toward and retake Amoy. Okay. Need more fighters. I need that ground attack tech. That will help. Five to 1, I will take those results every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Alright. Destroyed that enemy infantry unit here, and now we progress a little bit further. Toward Wuhan. We're like really into the outskirts of the town now. Probably need one more turn to get these two headquarters chained up between Crew Kang and the airfield here to get supplies all the way forward, but good result nonetheless. Army group destroyed there. Those guys will advance to the gates as well. Destroy that army here in the north also. Love to operate here. Instead, I think we'll have to switch these headquarters. Okay. Destroy that garrison unit. So we are now fully invested from the north. We're bringing a number of very strong units down. Again, might take 2 turns or so to get the supply situation ironed out, but also by creating this space, it's giving me room to reinforce some of my units who I might not have otherwise been able to reinforce. This key 12 MPP town. Got him. Destroyed another enemy unit. Alright, we'll drive these guys down here. And I actually think as part of my northern offensive, I'm going to do what I should have done a long time ago. And provide supply to these troops here in the north. I'm going to use this other headquarters. I'm going to spread myself too thin, I'm sure. What did I just do? No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to operate them, not transport them. Damn it. My bad. That'll delay things a month. I wanted to operate them to Taitong. But maybe that's not the right strategy or approach. Alright, we're going to need another garrison. Lulan. So that was a little foolish. I decided, hey, why don't we surround these guys? Maybe that'll help. You know, hitting enemy ships in port might be viable. Apparently not. Okay. All right. So we'll keep pushing on Wuchang or Wuhan from the north and also from the east. I don't know that we'll take it next turn, but I think within 2 turns it'll be ours. Then I think the enemy capital will move out toward Chongqing, which becomes logistically much more difficult to get to. But the enemy's down to 34 units, which is like 15 less than where they peaked at in the last episode. So I think those are good results. I'm going to save this money for now. Although I guess we could buy another field artillery unit. That could be useful. But I'm actually going to save it so we can get another headquarters unit going here. And can I upgrade this headquarter at all? No. Should we try and push for 2 yuan just to see what's there? There might not be anything there. We'll see. If I can rush it and there isn't anything there, maybe we'll do that next turn. I don't have any air units to scout it out. They've already moved this turn. So I think that'll do that for this. Now we've been going for over an hour now. So I'm going to wrap this episode up here, but I hope you guys are enjoying the Strategic Command. War in the Pacific, Rise and Fall of Empire. I think things are opening up. I think this scenario, we've gotten to the point now where things are tilting in our favor and things are beginning to open up. I don't think we're by any means assured of a victory. So we got a lot of ground to cover and difficult logistics to do it. We've got about 2 years left to do it. So we'll see how that plays out. But I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Leave your thoughts below as always. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer Scene. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.